Might help if I turn on the microphone and put on my headphones to make sure that I'm being heard. Yes, Darrell Lejean here in Basile, Louisiana. It's Sunday, March the 12th, and I have my Up With People alumni t-shirt on today, showing the year, not that I traveled it Up With People, but the year of the founding of the organization, when it was actually started as Sing Out. Sing Out 65, then 66, then 67, and in 1968 the organization was incorporated under the name Up With People, following their theme song. The theme song of the Sing Out show was Up With People. And I have in my hand here the very first Up With People album, which was distributed in 1965 by Pace Magazine, which promoted all things Up With People, all things Sing Out in those days. Notice that the album says, the Sing Out Musical Up With People. Pace Magazine presents the Sing Out Musical Up With People. And the Caldwell brothers are the featured trio in the front of the cast. And who is speaking about the organization but John Wayne, Pat Boone, and Walt Disney, all promoting the organization of Up With People. This album comes from the music that was on the television spectacular presented by Schick. If you remember Schick Razors, the Schick company were famous for their razors to shave men's faces, and I guess women's legs or whatever. Anyway, they sold razors. And I think they've even had come out with an electric razor maybe by that time. Anyway, in 1965, I was only in the first grade. And this spectacular came out, and somehow or other, I saw it as a kid. Not even knowing what it was, and before we had actually formed a Sing Out in Basile. Sing Out in Basile was started in 1967, but I saw this because once I looked at some of the archival footage, I'm like, I know I saw that as a kid. So I was touched by it, obviously, and it stayed with me all these years. Many songs of those of you that are familiar with Up With People or with Sing Out would recognize from the album. I'm going to read the list of songs on the album for you. Don't Stand Still, Showboat, Go Boat, Designed for Dedication, Run and Catch the Wind, The Ride of Paul Revere, Somewhere, You Can't Live Crooked and Think Straight, Up With People, A New Tomorrow, The Battle of Joan of Arc, The Spirit of the Green, What Color Is God's Skin, The Happy Song, Freedom Isn't Free, Which Way America. The song from here that I first learned was actually The Ride of Paul Revere. When I was in the 6th grade, Mrs. Catherine DeVille, our teacher, one of our teachers in the 6th grade at Basile High, allowed us to elect class officers. And among the class officers elected was a program committee. And the program committee was in charge of entertaining the class for every class meeting, to have some sort of entertainment. And lo and behold, I got to be on the entertainment committee. And the very first thing that we did, and this would have been, let's see, 67, 68, it's about 1970, I think. This would have been, I think, 1970 when I was in the 6th grade. The Basile Sing Out was on fire by this time. And we had a program from the most recent Sing Out concert, and it had the words to several of the songs, and everybody was familiar with several of the pieces. By then we all had learned What Color Is God's Skin, Up With People, Designed for Dedication, The Ride of Paul Revere. And my fellow committee members and I, along with some other groups, some other students in the class, presented, I think it was Up With People and The Ride of Paul Revere. And eventually, I became the soloist for The Ride of Paul Revere when I was a sophomore in high school with the Basile Sing Out. So I was the lead soloist for this song my 10th grade year, 11th grade year, and 12th grade year. Something that I've been having in my mind of wanting to do ever since I saw the Ride of Paul Revere performed for the first time. Thinking about the Ride of Paul Revere, I was also most excited in 2009, I think it was, if I have I think I'm right. In June of 2009, I joined together with about 100 other Upward People alumni from across the years, and we did a show called A Song for the World in Branson, Missouri. And about 25% of those 100 people were from the original cast of Sing Out. Along with the Caldwell brothers, of course, who wrote most of the original music and were part of the original cast, we started out by singing just some songs from Sing Out. And I was one of the microphone singers and ended up being one of the few people on stage while just the Sing Out members, the Sing Out 65 to 67 members, the original cast of Upward People, performed several numbers, including Sing Out. There was a song called Sing Out. In your hear the first sign of spring, you want to sing out. Da 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 da. You want to sing out. That's how the Sing Out came about as a title for the group. Anyway, I'm off track again. One of the songs that we performed that highlighted the Sing Out members was the Ride of Paul Revere. And I was just in heaven to be on stage as cast members perform the wonderful choreography that we had all learned in the Basil Sing Out. Ride, ride, though the night be cold. Ride, ride, till the truth be told. Ride, ride, like that man of old. Ride like Paul Revere. Isn't that awesome? We had a lot of good photos from that. It seemed like the audience always took pictures, at least of the Basil Sing Out, while we were doing the Ride of Paul Revere. I'll have to share those photos with you sometime. But anyway, it was thrilling, and I got to talk to the Caldwell brothers, the gentleman who wrote the Ride of Paul Revere. The words were written by Paul Caldwell, and Paul and Ralph Caldwell wrote the music. And let's get on and sing the Ride of Paul Revere. I might mention Joe Aguilar sang this beautifully, and I'm not sure who sang it before Joe. Somebody did, perhaps Ed Fruget, I think. I think Ed Fruget sang it with the Basil Sing Out first, and then Joe Aguilar, and then I sang it, and Terry Bellon, great singer who followed me, also sang it with the Basil Sing Out. Those were the featured soloists over the years. Oh, David Lejean also sang it. The late David Lejean, cousin of mine, sang the Ride of Paul Revere. My mind is working today. Mike Stockwell was the pianist when I sang the Ride of Paul Revere during most of my years. Sarah Evans played this for me as well, but the last year it was Mike. And Mike and Sarah were great accompanyists. So I'm not going to be able to play this in the style that they did, but I'm just going to do my best to plot it along and give you an idea of how the song went. Let's see. They saw two lanterns in the north church tower. They knew this was to be the fateful hour for a man to ride and to alarm every village, every form, to awaken them and call to arm. It was the Ride of Paul Revere. Ride, ride, though the night be cold. Ride, ride, till the truth be told. Ride, ride, like that man of old. Ride like Paul Revere. In 75, upon an April night, at midnight cry,